Greetings, 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 greetings. What's going on? What's going on, lineage? Why go on? This is your brother Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle with another video. I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but taking a break is always good. It was intentional, had to deal with some things, you know what I mean? But I'm here with you. I never left. All right. Out of sight doesn't mean out of mind. You're always in my mind, always in my heart. All right. So let me make sure we have audio on Facebook. Give me 1 second here. Hey, Chief Dot, what go on? Flying Eagle with another video. I know it's been a minute. All right, cool. So we got audio on Facebook. All right, let me just Michael Westbrook, what's going on, brother? What's going on? What's going on? Do me a favor, lineage. Go ahead and just share the link, on your page, wherever, you know what I mean? But we got a good one as usual. Of course, all information is always for knowledge-based purposes. I don't deal with the educational system, too much brainwashing and indoctrination. So I deal with the knowledge, right? Now, each and every one of us, we were manifested here for a purpose, right? And whether you know your purpose or not, your purpose will be served, all right? Whether it's voluntary or involuntary, it doesn't matter, right? Because in the spiritual realm, it was voluntary. Because you forgot about it in the physical realm, it doesn't mean that your purpose is not going to be served. So we all came here to serve a purpose, right? But you only find life or you only live life when you have found your true purpose, right? So therefore, we have to, within this journey or on this journey, we have to seek until we find our true purpose. Now, I have found mine, all right? And I've done a lot of deep soul searching, self searching to find myself. And when I found myself, I found what people call God. You dig? But this is not what this is about. This video here or this lesson is more so about restoring the birthright of our indigenous birthright. And a lot of you may ask the question, well, why is it taking so long? What happened to our people? Well, let me tell you something. This is just something that we had to go through. Whether you call it prophecy, whether you call it biblical prophecy or other texts, it doesn't matter because the Bible text came from somewhere else. And the somewhere else it came from somewhere else. The point I'm making is this: it's a long, never ending story that has been translated into different languages, cultures, different ideologies, but the premise or the basis of the story remains the same. Okay? What we call gods or the gods manifested here in man form, okay, to experience life individually as individual gods, and then back into what we call the original state of the spiritual realm. So, in essence, that is the journey. All right. So, we are literally experiencing ourselves as gods in the flesh. Okay. And there are lessons to be learned. But before we go back into our original state of being within beingness, all right, we have to go through these lessons. All right. And when you haven't learned your lesson, that means you have to reincarnate into a different physical avatar, a body, okay, until you learn that lesson to go back to the source from whence we came. All right. But with that being said, you see, what we call Mother Earth is the home. Mother Earth is the home. Earth is not going anywhere. Earth is not going to be destroyed. However, the world must be destroyed for Earth to regain its sovereignty. I'm going to repeat that. Mother Earth is sovereign. The world that was created, the matrix, the false illusion, the assimilation of Mother Earth, which is the world, it has to be destroyed in order for us to go back to an organic form of living. All right. You see, the world deal with survival. The world deals with fear. All right. That's how it generates energy so that it stays alive. It creates an illusion. Everything you see on TV, everything you see on the news, everything you see for the most part on social media, okay, it's part of the illusion. And that's why they have to keep giving us distractions, 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 okay? Every time there's a season for something. And I've mentioned this before. You have basketball season, football season, baseball season, hockey season, a volleyball season. There's always a season for everything. Then we go into the movies, social media, housewife season, power season, the book of whatever season. It is always a distraction, right? And people who are not sound mentally, people who have not found a true purpose, they are the ones that are led astray. No, I'm not saying it's not okay to look at a little bit of entertainment once in a while. I'm not saying that, right? But once your life is engulfed, okay, in entertainment, and you're lost within the realm of entertainment and think it's reality, then you're gone. You have to fall back and let that go. To truly find yourself, you have to let go the false illusion of the world, okay, and grasp the concept of what earth was meant to be. You see, when we, and I'm saying we because I am part of what you call the Godhead, all right, for those of you that haven't found yourself, you may call it blasphemy, call it whatever you want, right? It doesn't matter to me. I have found myself and I know who I am. I know I am part of the Godhead. I know I'm part of the creative force that created all of this. I am part of that, individualized in this body. I am not the body. I'm not the flesh. So therefore, whatever is in me is what we call God. That's why the kingdom of heaven is within. Too many people are taught it's out there, and churches, religion, and the likes, they have people looking for God outside of themselves, when the truth of the matter is God is within you because you are God, because you are not the flesh. The flesh is just the kingdom. And that's why you have to make sure that you purify your kingdom, you maintain your kingdom, you take care of your kingdom. Like a lot of you have lost God intentionally because of what you eat, the things you do with your body, the drinking all the time, the smoking all the time, and you think it's fun. You think it's, well, it's the thing to do. Everybody's smoking, so I must smoke. You see, you detach God from yourself with what you do with your kingdom. It is really that simple. So God has literally left the building for a lot of you, and you just don't know it. And that's why you are seeking and searching for God outside of yourself, because the God within you is not comfortable in the kingdom that you have. You feel me? Because you're not taking care of your kingdom. Your kingdom is not fit for a king or a queen. You dig? And that's why a lot of you are lost. You feel me? So you have to take care of this. Okay? Make sure it is fit for the dwelling of royalty, because the God in you is royal. The God in you is sovereign. And the God in you doesn't want to be in a body that's filthy, dirty, filled with disease. No, you see, there's another entity that's waiting to take the place of the God in you, because the God in you don't want to be in such an environment. You feel me? You may ask, well, Chief, what does that have to do with the birthright and restoring of the birthright? It has everything to do with that. Because you see, when you are in tune mentally, when you are sound mentally, then you see clearly. You see things that other people don't see. And I'm talking about seeing without the physical eyes. You see things that people don't see. You hear things that people don't hear. All right? So let me explain something to you. Grand Rising, my sister Beverly. So we created the earth as our home to experience everything outside of ourselves within the spiritual realm. Okay? And part of the experience was to experience the good, but not just the good aspect of ourselves, but the evil aspect of ourselves. That's why you had two bloodlines. And if you read the Bible very carefully, I have to go back to the Bible because the Bible has a lot of truth, but it is contradictory when you don't know what it's talking about. When you don't know the truth, it's contradictory. And you have different school of thoughts. You have the Elohim school of thought. You have the Yahweh school of thought. You have the Pentateuch. You have, it's just so many of them. And each one of them have a different concept of what we call God. All right? Now you have to ask yourself, it begs the question, before all these religions were created, We had millions and millions and millions of indigenous people living all over the world. And they didn't have a Bible. They didn't have a Torah. They didn't have none of these things. There were no concept of Israel. There were no concept of none of that. But yet still these people lived in nature, in harmony with nature. They had a symbiotic relationship with nature. I wonder, how was that possible? They knew what God was because they saw God in everything, because God is in all and God is within all. Even a dead rock that you see, the essence of God is within that rock as a rock. So that's how indigenous people saw things. All right. But then another entity had to come along to change the perception of the earth, to create a simulated world. In other words, a replica of the earth to teach the illusion. So in the first earth, we had dominion over everything, because when we created everything, first we had to create the home. You see, nature teaches us everything. Typical example, I'm going to prove it to you. So as above, so is below. When a man and a woman wants to get married, there is a certain path, okay, a certain right of way. And this is the way it's supposed to be done. The man is supposed to go to the family of the woman, propose, ask for the hand in marriage of the woman, and with the consent of the woman's family, if they agree, then the marriage is set. Then the man is supposed to prepare a home for the woman. In some cultures, the woman's family is the one preparing the home. The point I'm making is a home must be created before children could come into the union. So it's the same thing we did with the earth. When we manifested here, there had to be a place to manifest. So we created the earth as our home. All right. And when you build a home, you want to make sure there's a refrigerator. You want to make sure there's a TV. You want to make sure there's a table. You want to make sure that everything is within the home so that you, your wife, your husband, your children could live comfortably. All right. Now, within that home, you may buy a table and that table may not be big enough. And you say, honey, you know what? I think we need a bigger table. So you buy a bigger table. Okay. You bought a refrigerator it's too small. You get a bigger one. What does that have to do with anything? The same thing happened with the earth. When we were preparing this earth, we made mistakes, if we call them mistakes. It wasn't all good. We learned through trial and error as the gods. And when we finally got it, we said, hey, you know what? It's all good. Now, how can you know if something is good if you don't know if something is bad? You feel me? So good and bad has always existed. However, we chose to live in a world where it was all good. And that was in Genesis chapter 1. But then came another entity in Genesis chapter 2. Okay, that came to teach us another concept of life, where everything is not all good, where we don't have everything in abundance, where you by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. That was another entity that created what's called the world. And that is who is ruling the world today, that God, which is actually Satan, but people don't know that. People don't know that. Once again, you may ask, Lord Chief, what does that have to do with restoring the birthright? Well, this is where it is. We have to go back to Genesis chapter 1. The mindset that we had in Genesis chapter 1, where everything was in abundance, when we had dominion, when we were sovereign. We indigenous people are the sovereign people, not just of the Americas, but of the entire earth. Okay? And this has nothing to do with other recessive ethnic groups. No, they came later. All right? Not to say that this is not theirs as well. They are part of the inheritance. But we have to realize that the energy to bring back balance, the original people of Hue, as in Hue, they must regain the throne. They must step back and restore the birthright. It's the only way it's going to happen. You feel me? It's the only way it's going to happen. And it's not going to happen by calling yourself an Israelite or more. It's not going to happen that way, especially in the Americas. Okay? Because once again, may I remind you, I don't care how indoctrinated you are. Israelites are not the original people of the Americas. Moors are not the original people of the Americas. There are no treaties that state that. Nowhere in true historical facts it states that Moors or Israelites are the original people of the Americas. The original people of the Americas were tribal people, and they were coined one term, Amerindian or American Indian, and that's what all the treaties reflect as the indigenous people of the land. All right? But whatever other affiliations that you have, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's what you were taught. That's what you were indoctrinated with. It's okay. You could call your God Allah, Allah, Buddha, Yeshua, Zeus. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. The bottom line is you are the gods. We are the gods. And anytime you start looking for gods outside of yourself, you are literally worshiping idols. Okay, because what does it say? Thou shalt not have any other God but me. Who is me? Me is me. And the me they are talking about, they're not talking about the flesh. They're talking about the I am in you. That's God. And there shall be no other God but that I am in you, which is me, not the flesh. The flesh is not me. Me dwells in the flesh. It's right in the damn book. But you see, y'all so indoctrinated, you don't know what the book is talking about. That's the problem. And when you hear the truth, cognitive dissonance kicks in because what happens? It challenges your foundation of thought of what you were taught. It's impossible for you to think, well, hold up. How is it possible that I created all this? You see, the things of the spiritual realm cannot be fathomed by the physical mind. Okay? It's not going to happen. You have to truly find yourself to know that you are truly God. And of course, I'm using that term God very lightly because, of course, it was a name that was created just like anything else. Just like how, it says, the Bible says, God said, let us create man. How do we know man was the original name? Man is an English word. You would have to go back and whether it came from Latin, whether it came from Hebrew, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is you would have to go back and prove to me that man was the exact word from the beginning of time. You see, it all came from evolution and progression and the changing of tongues. The point I'm making is this. It doesn't matter what you call your God. Truth of the matter is you are the God. And I know this is very hard for a lot of you to see and realize and accept to be true. And it's okay. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe you're not ready for that. Maybe you still want to hold on to the book of illusions, and that's cool. That is cool. Maybe you still want to think that, you know what? Yes, there is truly a group of people that they call the Israelites and they have to get back. No, all that stuff was made up. Because all Israel means is one who contends for God or with God. So if you stand with the gods and you fight for and with the gods, then guess what? You're an Israelite. It is all allegory. It's all made up. So why are we allowing all these little differences to separate us? Typical example, more. A more has different meanings. More could be a tract of land. More could be a dark-skinned person. A more could be someone who's indigenous to North Africa. You feel me? So once again, why are we so caught up on these terms? And that's why I tell people, if you want to play semantics and you want to talk about, well, we're going to look at more from a complexion perspective, where we're saying all dark-skinned people is more. If I don't want to call myself dark-skinned, why would I want to call myself a more? Moor is not a nationality. There's no country called Moor. So Moorish American cannot be a nationality. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that. Just like Jewish. If you are Jewish, you are a kind of Jew. So if you're Moorish, you're a kind of Moor. You have to make up your mind. So that's ludicrous. It doesn't exist. It was made up. There's no damn country called Moor. There's a country called Morocco, and they don't call themselves Moors. They call themselves Moroccans. But let us get back to restoring the birthright here in the Americas. You see, that's my focus. That's my purpose. That's what I was sent here for. Okay? We have to do it as the indigenous people, not as black, not as Israelites, not as Moors, none of that. As the original indigenous people of these lands is the only way it's going to happen. All right? Whether you think the Bible is true or not, that's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. The Bible in fact, the Bible is true. The question is, do you comprehend what it's saying? Because it's literally a double-edged sword. Okay? It's a double-edged sword. And that's why it's contradicting, because it has two storylines, one of good and one of evil. There's a good God, an evil God, a good son, and a bad son. But what the Bible did, it put two in one. And they didn't tell you that there's a differentiation. So people are actually serving the evil God and the evil son. That's why we have churches on every corner, but yet still our people are the most broke, the most diseased, the most impoverished, the most sick, mentally ill, the most drug addicts, the most alcoholics. Why is that? Why is that? Because they are serving the evil God, thinking is the good God. So therefore, they have sacrificed themselves, living an illusion they think is the truth. You feel me? Let me show y'all something. Because you see, it could happen, and it's going to happen, whether y'all want to be a part of it or not. It doesn't make a difference. And not everybody who's on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, not everybody was meant to do certain things. Everybody has a purpose. Some people just came to give you the information. That's all. Others came to give you information and do a whole lot more. You see, I'm one of those, to do a whole lot more, because that's my purpose. But some people just came to just give you information. And that's what they do. You feel me? Just give you information and nothing else. Okay? And that's it. So keep that in mind. But let me go share this with you and show you something. All right. Publish. Here we are. Okay. A historic rainforest and other lands have been returned to indigenous Australians. Okay. Indigenous Australians. It doesn't say black Australians. If you look at Australians, they're darker than us, American Aborigines. But it doesn't say black Australians. It says indigenous Australians. Okay? Indigenous Australians. It doesn't say black. It says indigenous Australians. And that war has been going on for years and years and years. Okay? Let us read it just a little bit. We're not going to read the entire thing, just a little bit, right? Let us read. Some of Australia's world-famous national parks have been returned to the hands of the indigenous owners after a deal was negotiated with the government. The deal signed last month between members of the Eastern Kuku Yalanji community. You hear the word community, not neighborhood, community. You see, the Jewish people in Brooklyn, in Crown Heights, they have a community. Why you think I keep pushing and teaching and reaching and telling you we have to come together as a community, not a neighborhood? Too many of you are indoctrinated. Too many of you have become the projects, not realizing that the project is a mental state of mind. The building has nothing to do with the projects, because I go into communities where on one side of the same block you have condos, and on the other side you have PC hallways. So let me ask you a question. If the buildings are on the same block and one side they have condominiums, and on the other side they have this project with PC hallways and people shooting each other right across the street, then they stay in the same neighborhood, then what's the difference? You see, one side of the street is a neighborhood and the other side has a community. The neighborhood has no communion. They have no union. They have no unity, because that's what community is. The ability to commune within a unit, hence the word community. Even the Bible says, love your neighbors as yourselves. But yet still y'all live in neighborhoods and y'all want to kill each other for going up the block, for wearing the wrong colors. Because you are a lost people. You are a damaged people. You feel me? But don't despair. I was sent to restore mine. You dig? So with that being said, community and the government means for national parks will return to the traditional owners of the land. And that's in Australia. Who are the traditional owners of the Americas? We are. But we are too busy fighting each other. We are too busy on the internet debating. And, why are we debating? I mean, we know who we are. Who are we trying to convince? All we have to do is come together, step up, and make it happen. You feel me? So they are the traditional landowners. That area includes Daintree National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that's estimated to be about 130 million years old. 130 million years old. That's how long we have been on this planet, on this earth. That is just one. So you see, the indigenous Australians got theirs back. Let's go to another one that happened recently, right here in the Americas. Give me 1 second. All right. Let me come back here. Let me share this real quick. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Indigenous people of Ecuador. You see, I have to keep bringing this knowledge to y'all until you get it. Okay, I get it. Not everybody's ready to get it, and it's fine. Okay, but some of you are actually on the verge of just tipping over to say, you know what? Chief does know what he's talking about. And maybe it's time that we should come together. Some of you aren't ready yet, and it's fine. It's okay. One thing I know is this. It doesn't matter what you do, what I do. Life is going to go on. Tomorrow will always come. Some people say tomorrow may not be guaranteed. Yeah, tomorrow may not be guaranteed for you or me, but it still doesn't change the fact tomorrow is going to come. So tomorrow is always going to come, because all there is life. There's no such thing as death. All there is life. Death is an illusion. I do not subscribe to death. That's why I don't go and follow no hearse or follow people in funerals. I don't do that. Why am I following dead people? I don't do that. If I have to show my respect, I will meet you, or you meet me at the cemetery. I'm going to go ahead of you. I'm the living man. Why the hell am I following dead people? I don't do stuff like that. You see, I have a different kind of mentality. I'm the living. And I'm not going to follow no dead people into no cemetery. No. Meet me there, because I'm the living. I will pay my respect, then I'll leave. But I'm not going to go in land in hearse and follow people and follow dead people. Where they do that at? Huh? The dead living, the dead is leading the living. Nah, man. See, y'all do things backwards. But anyway, let us look at this right here. Check this out. Indigenous, what again? Here are the two key words. Indigenous is one. And what's the next one? Community. It doesn't say neighborhood. And until y'all get this, I promise you, you will continue to suffer, you will continue to perish, and you'll continue to be destroyed. Yes, mark my words, because you are a stiff-necked people. What does it say? Indigenous community in Ecuador wins legal fight to reclaim ancestral land after more than 80 years. You see, a lot of you want things to happen overnight because you live in this microwave society. You know what I'm saying? Well, Chief, I want to join the nation, but I want to know what you're doing to change things overnight. Guess what? You want to be part of the wrong nation. We ain't selling dreams. At least I'm not. I know what we're building is a grassroots movement. It's a grassroots movement. It's a grassroots community. It's a grassroots nation. That's what we are building. And we're not looking for overnight success. We are not looking for the microwave effect. No. You see how long it took them? 80 years. But they got it because they're not thinking about themselves. You see, too many of us, all we want to do is think about ourselves. We're not thinking about our children and their children and their children. No. We want it right now. But you have no guns. Well, you're going to go against the United States, the biggest army in the world. You see, you don't realize the type of wars that we're fighting nowadays. It has nothing to do with the physical war. It's not about guns and grenades and nuclear power. It's nothing. It has nothing to do with that. It's a spiritual warfare. You have to restore yourself. You have to repair yourself. That's the reparation. You have to repair yourself spiritually and soulfully. And once you have done that, then you will be in a position to be ready to fight the spiritual war. If you are not ready to fight the spiritual war, how in the hell do you expect to win a physical war? Y'all doing things backwards. So once again, it says indigenous community in Ecuador wins legal fight to reclaim ancestral land. Ancestral is another term in essence for traditional land after more than 80 years. And look at the people. Just look at the people that you see as the indigenous people. Look, mestizos. These people are not the original indigenous people. They are indigenous because they are native, means to be born. But they are not the original indigenous people. Okay? And that's why the word indigenous, when you look at the etymology of the word indigenous, it has two meanings. One to be born and one to be original. They are born, but they are not original. And let me tell you why they're able to do this. But first, we are going to go and look at the etymology of the word indigenous, just for the purpose of this lesson here. I've shown it to you before, but I'm going to show it to you again. Okay? I'm going to show it to you again. These Mexican-looking people, they are not, in fact, they're not, the original Mexicans are Afro-Mexicans, what they call Afro-Negroes. They are the original Mexicans, all right? These people are not the original Mexicans, all right? But anyway, they are not the original Spaniards. I mean, when I'm talking about they are Spaniards. They are not the original indigenous people. But let us look at the word indigenous. The etymology of the word indigenous, it has two meanings. One is born or originating. The natives of the United States, the ones who have the treaties, the one that deals with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA, they are indigenous, but they are only born. They are native to the United States, but they are not original indigenous to America. You see the difference? There's a difference. I'm going to repeat that, and I'm going to say it a little bit slower. The mestizo that I just showed you, and the so-called natives that the United States recognize. These people are indigenous, native to the United States. They were created through the United States. Okay? So they were born of the United States. So they are indigenous. However, they are not indigenous in regards to original to America. We are the original indigenous people. Okay? Keep that in mind. So once again, you see, when we are dealing with restoring the birthright, we have to go back to our indigenous roots. I don't care how black you want to call yourself. I don't care if you want to call yourself African American. I don't care if you call yourself Israelite. I don't care if you call yourself the tribe of God, GAD. It's all a bunch of bullshit. I don't care what you talk about. It's not going to happen because none of these treaties, these people did not call themselves that. And if the treaties of the United States and the Supreme, if the Constitution and the treaties of the United States are the supreme law of the land, then therefore, as an Israelite or more, you have no standing in law because it had nothing to do with you. All right. Now, let me see if I can share this with you. All right. I have all the treaties for the most part. Okay. Let me share this with you just to see if it's going to allow me to do this. Let me see. Nope. Give me 1 second, please. Bear with me here for 1 second. I know I have it somewhere. The treaties. Where do you have it, Chief? Where do you have it? I have it somewhere. Treaties. Here we go. Okay. Let me see if it's going to allow me to share this with y'all. Give me 1 second, please. Window. Here we go. Let me see if it's going to allow me just to kind of share that to see. Give me 1 second. All right. Now, I'm not going to open it up because it's not going to allow me to open it up. I've tried it before, right? But I just want you to know all these treaties here. I have over 300 and something treaties that was signed with the United States going all the way back. All right. We have the agreement with the Cherokee and other tribes. We have agreement with the Crown, with the Crows, agreement with the Seneca, agreement with the Fort Berthold tribe, agreement with the Cherokee again, agreement with the Columbia and the Ouville tribe. I mean, they have so many tribes. I mean, with the Creeks, the Delawares, the Five Nations, the Piang Chow. I mean, the Rogue River tribe. They even have what they call a snake tribe. The Miamis, the Choctaw. I mean, let me tell you something. I have all the treaties, and they are all signed with American Indians. All signed with American Indians, not Native Americans. Okay? Who are the American Indians? We are. That's why they said, you know what? Kill the Indian, but save the man. I have all the treaties, all of them, original treaties, over 300 and something. Okay? Let me stop sharing. Now, let me go here for a second. Google. Who said, I've shown this before, but I'm going to show it to you again to show you the plan by Captain Richard Henry Pratt. Just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show it to you again. That's why our grandmother said you had a little Indian in you. The little was the clue to let you know that you're the real Indian, because when they said they were real Indians, they were being killed, they were being hung, they were being put in jail. When indigenous women were given Indian names to their children were being taken by the police in the hospital. They were being threatened to go to jail, so they had to give them other names. Okay? But Captain Henry Pratt said, this resource includes the full text from Captain Richard Henry Pratt's speech, in which he used the now well-known phrase to describe his philosophy of assimilation: kill the Indian in him and save the man. The speech was delivered in 1892 during the National Conference of Charities and Correction held in Denver. So our people were afraid to give their children American Indian names. So when they tell you all the Indians died, no, the Indians did not die. No, they killed the Indian in us. In other words, they took away the identity of being American Indian, but they saved the man. We are still the remnants of our ancestors. We never left. We are still here. But yes, they killed the Indian in us, and they replaced it with Native American. Now, let me show y'all something. All right? Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me explain something to y'all. See, this is just like, let's go back to the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? And the earth was filled with void. Void means empty. So this is void, right? Now, because it's void, it doesn't mean it's empty. Yes, it could be empty physically, like there's nothing in the cup, right? But then within my thoughts, within the pre-thought of the action of putting things in that cup or that glass or that container, whatever you want to call it, right? Within my thoughts, I already know that there's something in there. Okay, so but it's void. It's void as in the physical manifestation. But in the spiritual realm, because the heavenly realm is the mental realm. Don't get it confused. Heaven is in your mind. Okay? Heaven is in your mind. So within the heavenly realm, this container is not empty because it's within my pre-thought. I already know what's going in there, but yet still is void. But I already know what's going to go in there. Is the same thing. When they took away our identity as American Indians, there was a void. It doesn't mean that the American Indian died from smallpox and all the bullshit they told us. No, it was called paper genocide. Okay? They made us extinct on paper by changing our identity over and over and over and over again until there was a void. Now, to make the story believable, they had to create something to fill the void. So the idea came up was, okay, you know what? Now that the Americas, this is the Americas, the land of the Americas, now that we fooled them and told them that, hey, the people that were there came from Africa. The people that were there, they died from smallpox. Okay? All these different stories. Now there is a void. There is a void. We cannot just come take it. The world is not going to believe that. So what do? We have to fill the void. What are we filling the void with? Native Americans. See that? Native Americans. Boom. All of a sudden, there's not a void anymore because the position is filled. So you see, that's what happened to us. That's what happened to us. Our land was taken and we were replaced by another set of people. It's like magic. It's like magic. So therefore, the land is still there and the colonizers took the land. All right. Now the land needs to be restored. But if the original people, such as you and I, we don't step up, then guess what's going to happen? Guess who's going to go back and fill that void? Guess what? Native Americans. See that? Native Americans. Because why? The original people, they don't want to get up. They don't want to come together. They don't want to create a community. They don't want to unite. Because the void has to be filled. And that's what happened in Ecuador. The original people were pushed aside, and then the mestizos were put in their place as the original people, as usual. So the crown, whether it's Spain or Europe, they're still in control. I mean, not Spain or Britain, they're still in control. So what am I saying here? I hope you're getting this visualization or the example that I'm giving you. All right. So what I'm saying is this: we, the original people, have to come together. We have to unite in order to make this happen, in order to restore the birthright, in order to get back our sovereignty. We are the only true sovereign on this land. But we are too busy fighting each other. We are too busy destroying each other. We are too busy debating each other. So you see who our biggest enemy is? Our biggest enemy is ourselves. And in me, it's actually in you. And we have to realize that everybody's not our enemy. Whether they look alike, they look like us or not. It has nothing to do with that. Because there's a saying, an enemy of an enemy is my friend. You see, we have to start thinking. We have to start thinking moves ahead. Now, I've already spoken about this. A lot of you may or may not know about the Jubilee, which I've already spoken of. I broke that down in videos before. It's also in my book. The year of the Jubilee. Let me just, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you the etymology of the word Jubilee. Let's go back. All right. Etymology of the word Jubilee. All right. As you could see, the Jubilee is mentioned in the Bible. Like I said before, all of this is, it's all coming from different indigenous cultures. Okay. So don't think it's coming from no sky daddy or no spook. No, that's coming from indigenous cultures. Our ancestors knew how to read the cosmos, and they could tell you what was going to happen within the next 2, 3, 4 years, because it was a cycle. Okay, it was a cycle. So it's no magician in the sky that wrote the Bible. All right. Sorry to disappoint you. Anyway, let me go ahead and share the screen real quick. Here we go. Jubilee. What does it say? It takes us back to the Old Testament. In the Old Testament sense, so therefore there's another sense, okay? But we are going to deal with the Old Testament sense. Jubilee, it's an anniversary of rejoicing. 14th century, from Latin Jubileus, the Jubilee year, originally an adjective of Jubilee, from Greek Jubileus, from Ibelos, from Hebrew Yobel, Yohel, Jubilee, formerly a trumpet. Now, what is Donald Trump? Donald Trump is the trumpet. Now, I'm not going to get into politics and tell you, oh, well, Donald Trump is the man. I'm just giving you the allegory of it all. It is all set up because that's the way it was supposed to be. It was all planned. It's prophecy planned by man and not by God in this Sky Daddy version. When I say God, okay? All this stuff is planned by man because, again, it's supposed to happen. And there are certain spiritual treaties and certain spiritual laws that they cannot violate without our consent, okay? Without us giving them the spiritual, what we call, we acquiesce to these things spiritually and we don't know. You see, that's the problem. You are signing contracts within the spiritual realm, mental realm, that is, and you don't know. So therefore, it's affecting you physically, and you wonder, oh, well, what's going on? Is it because of the color of my skin? No, it is because you don't know who the hell you are, and that's the problem. Okay, so let's go back to the Jubilee. It says in the Hebrew, Yob Hel, Jubilee, formerly a trumpet ram's horn, literally ram. The original Jubilee was a year of what? Emancipation of slaves and restoration of land. So when Trump got into office, that was the year of the Jubilee. Okay, going 50 years back. It was the 50th anniversary of slavery, where they had to regain and give the land back to whom? The indigenous people. Now, y'all don't believe me? Please don't believe anything that I tell you. Because if I ask you to believe me, the moment Chief Kalanago asks you to believe him, he's lying to you. Because in the word belief, there's the word lie. But I'm giving you knowledge. I'm giving you knowledge. So Trump, Donald Trump, his surname is actually Trump, and it was changed to Trump because it symbolizes the trumpet sounding for the Jubilee of the indigenous original people. The emancipation, to give it back to them. But you missed it because the demons, as in democrat, tricked you into bringing Biden, by as in two, D-E-N as in den, put you back in the den of the pits of the folk tongue of hell. So y'all missed that, huh? But you see, I don't play politics. I just give you the metaphysical meaning of all of this. That's all it is. I'm not telling you Trump is the best, Biden is the best. No, that's not what I'm here to tell you. Hey, left wing, right wing, same bird. It doesn't make a difference to me. But I'm giving you the metaphysical meaning of all of this. So when Trump got into office, it was our chance. It was our true time for the Jubilee, our emancipation. But we fell right back into sleep, back under the curse of the demons. Okay, as in democrat. But let me show y'all something. So we're talking about Jubilee. Let us go to Google here for a second, and let's look at the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Let's look at that here real quick. Let's see if we find the PDF. All right. And we are going to look at, give me 1 second. Let's see when was that established. All right. What does it say here? Because you see, I like to prove everything I talk about. What does it say here? OAS. OAS stands for Organization of American States, right? It says Organization of American States, General Assembly, Regular Session 46, 2016. Okay? So a plenary session was held on June 15th, 2016, where they worked on the American Declaration, and Trump was the one who brought it into office. Because Trump did not want to be a part of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Trump had to give, because why? He was the one that had to bring the Declaration of the Jubilee, okay? The freedom of the so-called black people who don't know that they're American Indians. So he had to give them the Declaration of the Indigenous People in 2017, because it was the year of the Jubilee. We were supposed to take this, run with this, put this into law, and take back our damn land. But y'all don't hear what Chief Kalanago is talking about, because you're listening to everybody else that don't want to do anything. They're just giving you information because that's their job. So I'm not mad at them. That's all they're there for. I was sent for a different reason. But I'm not going to force you to see it. I'm not going to force you to stand with me. I'm not going to force you to be a part of what I'm doing or what we're doing. No. Do what you feel you need to. But it's going to happen with or without you. So that's what Trump, the trumpet, the year of the Jubilee was for. You feel me? Emancipation, the restoration of our land as the sovereigns. 2016. Let's go back. Don't believe anything that I say. Let me ask you a question again. Let's go back here for a second. When did Donald Trump become president? All right, let's share this. See, y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about, huh? Or trust me, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And guess what? I know exactly how to restore our birthright. Like I told y'all before, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, wow, I didn't know Chief was that man. See, y'all going to look back and your children are going to talk about it. And you'll realize, damn, you was walking around one of the greatest ones ever walked the face of this earth. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I just know who I am. And I know what I came here for. But let us look at that. Trump was inaugurated in 2017. In 2016, they wanted to force Trump to adopt the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Trump said, "No, I don't want to be a part of that because we know that it's not legally binding. No, I want to give the true indigenous people, I want to give them their own." So Trump was the one who pushed for the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, and Trump passed that. So every state is obligated. Every state is a party to the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. But what are we doing? Are we making sure we come together so we could make sure that we pass that as a law? Are we doing that? No. We're too busy distracted. We're too busy fighting each other. We are too busy breaking down each other. We are too busy focusing on football and basketball and Jay-Z and Beyonce and Rihanna and how many children they have, and Jamie Foxx, whether he's real or not. And, it's too many distractions. Too many distractions. I promise you, if we don't come together and we don't get it, guess what? We're going to go right back into slavery. We're going to go back right back into the bottom of the pit that they got us in because we refuse to get it. We refuse to get it. This is ours. It's our birthright. And the United States has an obligation. The United States has a fiduciary obligation to deal with us from a government to government basis. And we are in the trust of the United States, and they're supposed to give us everything that we demand. But guess what? Because we don't know who we are, well, the majority of the people don't know who they are, and they're not stepping up as who they are, then there's a void. And whenever there's a void, nothing could remain a void within this physical realm. So therefore, something else has to replace it. That's where the natives come in, because you refuse to step up and take your place. See, I don't do videos too often. All right? But when I do, I'm going to give you substance as usual. Okay? Let us look at the definition of fiduciary. All right? A fiduciary is someone who manages money or property for someone else. When you are named in a fiduciary and accept the role, you must, by law, manage the person's money and property for their benefit, not yours. You see, the United States is handling our monies and our properties, and it's not in our benefit because we don't know who we are. We refuse to step up as the indigenous American Indians of the land. So therefore, what does it say? A fiduciary is someone who manages money or property for someone else. Who's the someone else? Us, the American Indians. However, when you are named as the fiduciary, as in the United States, because they have accepted the role, because we are in the trust, by law, not by legal, no, by law. That is law. They manage the persons, us, our monies, and our property for our benefit and not theirs. But right now it's for their benefit. And because they have to give it to somebody to create the illusion, they're giving it to the natives because the original people refuse to step up. Like I said, I don't know how much more I could break it down to you, but I just got to give it to you, man. Just got to give you the truth. God give you the facts and do what you want to do with it. Do you think we have to struggle? Do you think we have to pay rent? Do you think we have to pay light, gas? No, we don't have to pay none of that because all that's free to us. It's free because everything was built on our backs. It came from us. Nothing that the United States or this corporation have is theirs. It belongs to us. Okay? And we are the beneficiary. We are the inherited beneficiary. That's our inheritance. Everything we're supposed to have a piece of. The stoplight, electricity, basketball, hockey, everything we're supposed to get a percentage of. Everything. But now we want to be black. We want to be from Africa. You want to be Moors. You want to be Israelites. Don't you realize when you call yourself all those things, you're cutting yourself out of the inheritance? Because the inheritance was not for Israelites. It was not for Moors. It was not for black people. It was not for African Americans. It was for the American Indians. You want inheritance as an Israelite? Go to Europe. Go to Europe. That's where your people are from. The original Europeans are Israelites. Okay? Not here. This is not yours. And what's going to happen is y'all going to continue to fight and go against the grain, and Mother Nature is going to fight you back because it's not yours. No matter how hard you fight to say it's yours and try to claim it, it's not going to happen because that's not how it was in the beginning. So you will not succeed. It belongs to the original indigenous people, aka American Indians, American Aborigines. And we did not call ourselves Israelites or Moors. So you are fighting a battle that you can't win, because eventually you're going to fail. You're going to fall because you're trying to take somebody else's birthright. The universe is not going to allow it to happen. But what do I know? Huh? What do I know? Maybe I'm the one who's crazy. Maybe I'm the one who's living the illusion. Maybe I'm the one that can't see the truth. Hmm? My brothers and sisters, this is ours. It's our birthright. It's our motherland. And we have to stand up and fight. Fight for it. We have to claim it. We have to restore it. See, what you don't realize, you see, our purpose is so, how would I put it? Is so vine. And I'm using the word vine as in divine, because when you're divine, that means you're disconnected. So I'm not divine, I'm vine, I'm connected to the source, right? But when your purpose is vine, and it's within vine manifestation, you don't realize how great you are. You see, the world is waiting on us. Africa is not waiting on Africans. Africa is waiting on us, American Aboriginals. The entire world is waiting on us. We just don't know it because we don't know how great we are. We don't know we are the first, and the first had to become the last. But the cycle was complete. The prophecy was fulfilled, where the first had to become the last, and therefore the last will become the first again. And that's why so many people are waking up, so to speak. But we have to do more than just wake up. No, it's time to come together, build the community, unite. All right. So I'm going to conclude this video. I hope you found some value in this. I can't tell you when I'm going to do another one. I didn't plan on doing a video today. I just did it just because, I was just chilling, and, ancestors came to me and said, "Hey, Chief, you know what? I think, you should drop a video." I was like, "Well, what am I going to talk about?" They're like, "Don't worry about it. Just set up the Zoom. I mean, set up the StreamYard. We'll tell you what to say." But it wasn't planned. So, moral of the story here is this: we have to unite. Okay. And the truth of the matter is, not everybody that look like us is going to be part of this. No, let me rephrase that. Not everybody who look, well, yeah, that's true. Not everybody who look like us is going to be for this or be part of this. A lot of people that don't look like us are actually going to be for us because they know the truth. And they know that until we are restored, America will never be great again. And they know until we are restored, there will not be balance here on this landmass, because our ancestors will continue to fight and fight and fight until her children are restored. Okay? For those of you that need my email, uh, let me just put it, let me share it, let me give it to you real quick. All right. I have two emails, but the one, where we are nation building, like I said, we have already established the nation. All right, and we are doing great things. And yes, we are small, but it's okay. You know, send me an email here, United @gmail.com. All right. So this is the email right here, United @gmail.com. All right. Send me an email, if you want to get in touch with me. We could build. I could let you know what we're doing. If you want to be a part of it, great. If not, then that's fine. But we have, like I said, we have established our nation and we have a strong foundation, and we're building a community. That's what we are doing. We are doing something different. All right. And like I told y'all before, I know how to restore our birthright. I know exactly what to do, but I can't do it alone. We need the numbers. You see, no one man is an island. No one man is a nation. No one woman is a nation. No one woman is an island. We have to come together and we have to be honest. We have to have honest conversations. We have to have integrity. We have to be honest. We have to be loyal. We have to be truthful. And there are a lot of people that always talk about what they're going to do and they will do this and they'll do that and they don't. I'm not one of those. I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. All right. Now, let's keep in mind that everything that we set to do happens, and that's okay. You know what I mean? You see, it's not what you do that determines your strength. Okay. It's what happens after you do what you do determines your strength, whether you succeed or you fail. Because when you fail, that's where your true test of character is tested. Does it mean that you should give up? No. We have to stand up, brush ourselves off, and try again. But we're building something from a grassroots movement, a grassroots nation. And every nation was once a young nation. And we will not fail. I promise you that. All right. So you have the email, unitedandionwea@gmail.com. Let us make this thing happen. The time is now. We are still in the year of the Jubilee. As you could see, the trumpet is still trying to sound. Don't miss it. It has nothing to do with politics. It's bigger than that. It's about restoring our birthright, healing our people, getting back what's ours. We have given the world enough. We built the world. We gave the world civilization. We taught the world. Now it's time to restore. We gave the world everything that we had. Now it's time to replenish. You see, we are going back to Genesis chapter 1. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. That's what we did in the beginning. So shall it was in the beginning, so will it be in the end. And we are in the end. Not the end of the earth, but the end of the world, the illusion. It's time to restore Mother Earth. So we shouldn't be fighting for a one world. We should be fighting for one earth. The world is the illusion. And we should no longer worship and idolize and pray to the God of the world, which is actually Satan. Know the difference. You want God? Find yourself. All right? Y'all enjoy the rest of your continuation. I'll be looking forward to those of you who reach out. All right. And like I said, all people that's doing all the talking, oh, well, I'll do this, I'll do that. Man, listen, I ain't got time for all of that. I want to deal with real people. Okay. You call yourself a God, then anybody could be a God. You have good gods, you have evil gods. Be one of integrity. All right. People that say they're going to do things, do it and be real about it. We ain't got no time to play around. Okay. All our brothers and sisters that's in jail, we could get them out of jail because we could challenge jurisdiction. American Indians are not supposed to be in the jails of these foreign occupiers. But what do I know, right? What do Chief Kalinago know? But I love y'all though. Always have, always will. Even those who came against me, I have nothing against you because I know the truth. You see, when you know that you are God, little things don't bother you like that. And when people come up against you, you know that they're not going to succeed. I know that. So I forgave you even before you made an attempt to hurt me. All right. But for those of you who want to sit around and try to hurt me intentionally, I don't forgive that. I'm sending the wrath of the ancestors to get you and destroy you. And trust me, you don't want to go there. It's a different day. It's a different age. And there's a new sheriff in town. and his name is Chief Kalanaga. All right, we'll talk soon.